Hello. And I decided to rearrange my wardrobe because I wanted all the lights to be in the back, and I don't really like it. And I just am having one of those days. So, for I think the first time ever, my camera is off, and I'm not turning it on because I don't really like how the whole backdrop of everything looks right now. It's kind of annoying. But anyway, God, I can't see the damn poll on StreamYard. I made a poll because, okay, what is this now? I made a poll about my crazy ex-house guest, if y'all remember from before. And it is so, I need to, I'm sorry, I keep interrupting myself because of the weather. I swear I felt an earthquake a little while ago. But so I got my crazy house guest. Guess how much? Because I can't see the damn poll, but I made a poll. So I don't know. You tell me if you can even see the damn poll. But guess how much they have spent combined so far in their divorce. And let's just say that they're like halfway done. They're probably about halfway done. They still have about halfway to go. So I put, let me see if I go to, you guess, see, I can't see. Hey, Nikita, I can't see so I'm in StreamYard, and in StreamYard, I can't see the poll. Oh, I hope Spotify, I'm trying to link Spotify to the members area. And I think because I have 2 accounts in Spotify, it's not working. Okay, so let me go into regular, and let's see if I can see the poll there. But ridiculously, whichever option you pick, any one of them is pretty fucking ridiculous, aren't they? Let's see, I can't see the poll here, so let me go to over here. Hey, Mr. Pork. Mr. Pork, how did I get to be a freaking head mod for freaking Amber? She kicked us all out, remember? And then I remember one day, I think I was talking to Jules about this. I don't know how we got kicked. Anyway, so do I see the poll here? Hold on, let me go up. Okay, so oh wait, no, I don't want to end it. It just okay. There we go. All right, so most people pick 75 to. Nobody picked over $100,000. Well, let some more people vote, let's just say. But they are about halfway done. They just started. They're just starting to go onto the custody phase. Like, they haven't even done that. Really, all they've done is, let's see. They decided that she had to get out of the house only because he put an order of protection on her. So she had to get out of the house. And I guess, and so he does have, the lawyer's supposed to call me sometime today. But at this point, he has primary custody. And I guess they're voting, whatever. But they're going to finalize that. But, I mean, they really haven't done jack diddly shit. I think he's going to get to keep the house, and he's going to have primary custody. But I think they might be trying to figure out like alimony and stuff, which I asked him. I said, you have primary custody of the kids. She has paid you nothing. Like, you have 2 children and you're living in the house that you used to live in, which has like a sizable mortgage, and she's paid nothing towards that. Like, the 2 kids and, a nice house up here. That's a lot of money a month. And she's paid nothing towards any of that. He's paid everything. And she's not even tried to pay. I mean, she lived with me. She freaking lived with, hit the like button, by the way, people. She lived with me. So, and she didn't pay me rent. So, I mean, like, you would think he would have to pay her. Or no, she would have to pay him because he's, like money for the kids. Kids cost money. He's got the pets. He's got the house. He's got the kids. He's got the bills. He's got everything. She's paying for nothing. But I guess since he makes more than her because she just lost her job, she's a twat. I guess so. Anyway, so I guess the thing is he would have to pay her alimony. See, I don't really totally get how this works because when I got divorced, it was very amicable. And I wasn't working at the time because I was doing my cat nonprofit because at the time he was the VP of the company. So he was making buku bucks. So I didn't need to work. So I didn't work. And then right after he filed for divorce, I thought I was going to get all this money. He got laid off too. So then he didn't. So nobody had any money. It was the dot-com bust. If you guys remember, like in 2000, it was the dot-com bust. And it busted and nobody had any money. So, we both kind of just like split all of our stuff up. And we couldn't even sell the house for like, what we paid for it after putting down like a shit ton of money. So anyway, we decided to do it ourselves because we were like, this is stupid. The lawyers were like, give us a list of all the video games that you have and we'll split them up for you. And that'll cost you $5,000. Because they go by every 6 minutes. Every 6 minutes, they charge you something, which is ridiculous. You read an email and it takes you 4.5 minutes. Boom, you just like paid for 6 minutes of their time. It's so stupid. So anyway, let's see, more people have voted. Again. Okay, well, still no one's picked up. So we got, so most people, so it's pretty much tripled. Okay, so let me just say once again. So they're about, hey, Bad Medicine, how are you? Good to see ya. Oh, and for people who were mods before, I pretty much got rid of all my mods just because I don't need any. And it's just, so I think like Lynn, Mr. Pork, and I think there's one more person. If you've noticed you were a mod and you're not, it's nothing personal. I just don't need mods. I don't get assholes coming in. And if assholes do come in, I'd like to roast them myself. But anyway, so let me just say again, they're not even halfway done. I mean, actually, I don't even think they've done anything. I mean, if they're to think about it, if they're still talking about like finalizing custody and alimony, I mean, it's so ridiculous. Like here's one of the funny parts. Like, so she told her child this. We went to back to school night, right? So we go to back to school night and she tells her daughter, who's 10, mind you, oh my God, it was just so hard to not kill her when I saw her. Okay, that's what you say to a 10-year-old? Even if I was a raging asshole, you don't say that to a 10-year-old. Besides the fact that I'm not an asshole and she likes me better than she likes her mom. It's funny because in 2020, when COVID hit, they were both working full time and it was the summer and they needed childcare and there was no childcare. So I took care of their children. I was basically daycare. I think he worked from home 1 or 2, and she worked at a winery, so she was off on Mondays. So I think 3 days, hey Rosie, 3 days a week I had their children full time, like, and sometimes dinner would come and like, he would have a drink, a glass of wine with my husband, and they'd end up being there till like 9 o'clock at night. So, I mean, these kids were like my kids to me in a way. I feel very close to them, as to what happens to them and things like that. So I care a lot about these kids, let's just say. So anyway, so she tells her 10-year-old, oh, it was so hard for me not to just kill her, having to see her and sit through back to school night. You don't tell a 10-year-old something like that, because A, she knows you're an asshole for saying that, and that's just rude and wrong. And B is just be more mature than that. Is that really what you teach your daughter? I mean, because her and her son have not spoken since about 2021. And like I said, 2020, like I took care of them pretty much all week. And I got very close to their kids. And I remember one time in the bathroom, this was when her and her son first started having problems. And I remember her talking to me and saying, if you need to parent my kids, you have my full permission to and I'm like, oh, trust me, girl, you don't need to give me permission. If kids act like assholes at my house, hey, Matt, I'm like, if a kid acts like an ass at my house, I will tell them that they are, trust me, you don't need to give me permission, I mean, I know, I mean, I'm a mom. I know where you can overstep your bounds. I'm like, I know what to, and like, trust me, don't worry about it. And she's like, the daughter, she's like, she likes you more than me anyway, because she's a girly girl and you're more a girl. It's weird because I'm not a girly girl, like at all, but I look like one, but I play one on TV, but I'm really not a girly girl. Like I'm really not, but I do look more like one than I guess she does. So, so her daughter liked doing her nails with me and things like that. So she's like, she loves you. She really loves you, like you're her aunt or something. And I was like, well, I really care for her too. And she's like, well, you have my permission if you ever need to. And I was like, well, I don't need your permission, but thank you anyway. I'll take it. So anyway, and the son, here's a funny story. And gosh, okay, so now you guys are about half at the 75 to 100,000. Okay, you're kind of going up. Originally, it was just 50 to 75. And then it was like mixed 50 to 75, 75 to 100. Then it was like thirds, under 50, 50, 75, 75, 100. Still no one has picked over $100,000. So it was funny. So I have two sons. So I have one that is 11 and one that's 13. So at this point, the older kids, the younger kids wanted to play with the older kids, and the older kids were kind of like, get out of our faces, you're young kids, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, for all you members, first hit the like button, you silly bum heads. I never hit the like button either. I always forget. So the younger kids wanted to play with the older kids, and the older kids were kind of like, bug off, whatever. They were being a little bit mean. But anyway, so I had a talk with her son. And I went to her son and I just said, here's, they're little kids. They look up to you guys, blah, blah, blah. And so her son says to me, thank you for giving me options. What is that not kind of a bit of a weird thing for like at that point? He's 15. He's going to be 15. Fuck, he is 15. Well, he was like 12 at the time, but is that not a bit of an odd thing to say? Like, thank you for giving me options. Because he truly, honestly had never been taught how to act in that situation. A little kid's getting in your face and and it's because they look up to you and respect you, but you don't know how to handle it. So, you just like make fun of them and are mean to him. Like thank you for giving me options. I gave him options. He never knew how to act. His parents never taught him how to act. So anyway, I mean, that just kind of like, that blew my mind a little bit. I was like, wow. I mean, I don't know why but that was like I don't know why, but that was like a moment in my life that I don't think I'll ever forget for some reason. I don't know why. But anyway, so, that was at the point where she told me, we're not getting along. He doesn't really like me. He really likes you. If you can do anything to help him, and so I told her the story. I said, well, this is what happened. And he said, thanks for giving me options. And she's like, yeah, I don't know really what to say to him. I'm just not a good mom. I'm just blah, blah, blah. You're a better, So, okay. So at that point, I'm a good mom. You can mom my kids whenever, right? She gets divorced. She has nowhere to go. So she comes here. She stays with me. And her daughter even stays with me. So then now that since I kicked her out, which, fuck, man, I didn't kick her out. Wait, hold on. My husband just texted me. So what was I saying? First she was supposed to stay with us for 2 weeks, and it just kept dragging on. So finally, we had to have a conversation. We're like, okay, we're gonna give you 3 more weeks, but then you really have to be out, like, because my parents were supposed to come, they couldn't come. I mean, it pretty much was like it's gonna be the whole summer, and it's like, my son and dot, they're like really good friends with your kids, and your son won't come over to hang out with his best friend, which is my son, because you're here. So, we can only give you so long. And your 2 weeks is now turned into, if you took the whole time, like 8, which was pretty much going to have been the whole summer. So, we kind of like, gave her a time limit, which I think that's a respectable thing to do. So anyway, she flies off the handle. She goes crazy, right? Yelling, screaming, leaves that night. So anyway, their daughter, I mean, doesn't talk to the son, but the daughter wants to come and hang out and play at my house. And she has actively refused. She says that if the husband needs to set up a play date over here, it's because he can't care for the children. And if he can't care for the children, that he needs to call her first, and she will take care of her daughter, because she doesn't want her daughter over here, because this house, I don't know how she put it, but like, this is not a good environment for children. She doesn't want her kids here, because this is not a good environment for children. Bitch, then why did you want to stay with me? She wanted to stay with me. She stayed with me. She cried when she had to leave. She brought her daughter here. But now suddenly this is like not a good environment for children. Girl, it was a pretty good place for children when you needed it to be. She's just doing that to be vengeful. And that's the problem. And that's the thing that I don't like. I do not like it when people use children as pawns in divorces. That really makes me mad. Like, really makes me mad. And she is so selfish. And that's why I put the poll up. Because the poll shows how selfish that she is. Because there's no reason that their divorce needs to cost as much as it is costing. But it is, because she is making every little thing into a big deal. Like, like if he wants, his lawyer told him, because he ended up dropping the order of protection, because he's like, if she has an order of protection on her background, she's going to have a problem getting a job. She's going to have a problem renting a house, buying a house. Like, it's a big thing. You don't want to get an order. In California, you don't want that on your record. So he ended up dropping it because he's nice. Yeah, she moved in her house plants. I mean, for those of you like Matt and Bad Medicine, Rosie, I don't know if you guys were here then, but She freaking moved her. I mean, she literally was supposed to be here for 2 weeks because she had nowhere to go. And at the time, I kind of thought the situation was like a 60-40, like, as far as who was like the asshole in the relationship. And I thought the 60 was the husband. Well, by the time she left, I realized it was maybe more like 99-1. But like, I remember one day, because I was like, you can stay here if you really have nowhere to go. My family's supposed to come here. Your son, my kids' friends obviously can't come hang out. You're obviously gonna ruin our summer, but I'll do it because that's how nice I am. So I go down there one day, and she's got like this lit up stringy thing all around the whole room with pictures of her kids hanging from them, her daughter's birth certificate, and she had her freaking house plants. She had house plants. When you go stay, like, I expected her to come and like bring like a bag, have like a bag, that maybe you put one bag, because we have those tables. You put a couple bags on the tables. You kind of live out of your suitcase a little bit. I even like took, because it was our downstairs. It's like a game room, bedroom, fourth bedroom, but it's got like, but whatever. So, I took things off shelves. I put up like those 3 whatever command strip hanger things for her. I did everything to make it a comfortable environment. I bought a mirror. Like, there's already a sink down there and everything, and there's, so like I did everything to make her comfortable as possible. And she freaking took advantage of that as anything. I remember I did a video. It's a members only video, which if you're a member, it's free right now. But you have to go to Patreon, because I'm moving my memberships to Patreon because YouTube sucks. But anyway, so I made a video where I was like looking around because I was going to clean that day and it was a mess. And I'm looking and I'm like, she's got her house plants in here. And then I found like her stash of booze, because there's a fridge down there for when, when the kids have their friends over, then there's like, there's a fridge down there for their sodas and, stuff like that. Like, she had mixers in there, like carrot juice. You don't drink carrot juice. She had mixers in there. She had like a 6-pack of wine. I mean, it was just, she was bloody rooted in there. So if you're a member, or if you want to just go sign up, because it's free right now for the next few weeks. I mean, I did a video about it, and like she was bloody fucking rooted in there. Hold on. If I'm sounding like I'm moving around, it's because I'm moving around. But she freaking moved in. She moved in. And when I saw that, I was like, oh my God. And I think I saw that either the day before. Where the hell did that thing go? Either the day before or the day after. I think it was the day before my husband and I had the talk with her that, her time here was coming to an end because we, it just wasn't, she had been here long enough. And so it just, it's like, and it was one of the funniest parts is like, she had, like, there was something. I'm going to walk around and look for something. So if I like start sounding weird, like, just yell. Well, you can't yell at me, but just, I'll try and be loud as I walk around. But like, every inch of space had something. There was either a house plant in a spot, or there were mixers, or there was a 6-pack of wine. Where the hell did I put that? I mean, she had stuff everywhere. It was like she was in and she was never leaving. Like, never. Because originally she was like, I just need someplace to stay for a few weeks because, he did this order of protection against her. And she was like, I just need a place to stay just until, our first court hearing, because at the first court hearing, they're going to throw that out. And then I'll go back home and everything will be fine. And I believed her stupidly enough. And so anyway, we realized that wasn't happening pretty quickly. And at that point, I realized that she was like, I kind of like it here, and I don't think I'm ever going to go. I'm just going to stay here forever. I mean, she did have a pretty good setup. I'll tell you what. But anyway, so that night, so we told her, like we had to sit down and we're like, okay, your next court thing is in a month, and we need you to be out. But by that month, you have one more month after she already had like 6 weeks. And the first thing she talked about was her piano. I'm like, I've heard you talk about where your piano's gonna go, but I've never heard you talk about where your kids are gonna go. Like, you might not be living a piano lifestyle anymore. You might want to start thinking about, because she's like, wow, I'm gonna have to get a rental unit for my piano. And I'm like, why can't your piano just sit at the house where it is right now? Because, and she's like, because he'll do something to it. I'm like, why would he do something to your piano? It would obviously be, I mean, are you stupid or are you stupid? Oh, I guess you're just stupid. So anyway, she's, and I'm like, because I got a storage unit when I got divorced. I was like, girl, that's a big piano. I'm like, that's going to be at like $1,000 a month, storage unit. And she's like, well, I don't care. When my dad died, he left me like $150,000, and I'll use every cent of it up if I have to for my piano. I'm like, okay, whatever. And so the next day, so the rule was going to be that because she was allowed to have her daughter at that point. Her and the son still don't talk, so she was allowed to she would come home from work, and she could go get her daughter and bring her daughter to the house, after work. And then she would cook dinner for everybody. That was like her one job, in lieu of paying rent or paying my electric bill, which in the summer is about $500 to $600, and she's adding to that, like, instead of paying me a penny for anything, all we asked was you cook dinner, and then after dinner, you have to bring your daughter home so she sits at her house. And so this one night, my friend Jack was over, and we're sitting there and we're talking, and we're like, what is she doing? Because she came home and she's like, her daughter wasn't with her. And I'm like, where's your daughter? And she's just like, I don't want to, I can't. And she's just really weird. And we're like, okay, whatever. And we're, so we're just upstairs talking, BSing. And we notice she keeps going to her car. She's like bringing stuff to her car. Like, is she like starting to pack up and like bring her stuff out or what? Like, what is she doing? And so all at once, so we're like, well, let's go out to the garage, because I had Sam the feral cat at that point. We're like, well, we'll pretend like we're watching, we're looking at the cat, and we'll see what she's doing. And she's like huffing and puffing and bringing stuff to her car, and she's all like wasted. I mean, she was supposed to cook dinner at 5, and it was now 6:30, almost 7. So it was pretty obvious that she was not going to be cooking dinner as she was supposed to. So he's like, well, I got to go home. I'm like, really? Can you please just stay? I have a feeling I might need you to. And so he just laughs. And so he goes. So then I'm on the phone. I get on the phone with Jackie Jude, and I'm talking on the phone to Jackie Jude. And all at once, she comes up the stairs and she's like, you need to call my children right now. And I was like, excuse me? And she's like, you need to call my children right now. And I was like, can you please tell me why I need to call your children? Like, what is going on? I was like, you have been the rudest person I've ever seen act as a house guest in my life. And now you're yelling at me, so I'm getting off the phone with my friend to talk to you. Like, stop for a second and tell me what the heck is going on here. And she's like, I'll just call 911. And I'm like, you go call 911, girl. I don't know what's going on with you, but like, I'm not going to be treated like this. So anyway, she ended up, there was a point, and I have it all on videotape, and my son videotaped it too. But like, she like gets up in my face. She's probably 5'2". I'm probably like 5'6". And she's like, she's one of those girls who, when things go bad, she like doesn't eat. So she's like 95 pounds, and I'm like normal, like 120. But so I'm like towering over her, and she's getting in my face, and I'm just thinking, like, girl, you better watch yourself, because you'll be throated and thrown to the ground real fast. You're on my property. I can legally hunt on this property, so you could be careful here. And so she's yelling, she's screaming at me, and anyway, so she left, and the reason she left was she was downstairs, and I had just spent the whole day cleaning the room because it was a pigsty, and she's down there doing something, and my son yells up, Mommy, when is she leaving? And I was like, I don't know what's going on, honey, but soon, and he's like, Mommy, she's scaring me. And I'm like, right now. And she's like, I'll be leaving soon enough. And I'm like, no, you're leaving right now. I was like, that's it. And I like walked down the stairs, and I was like, I'm gonna stand here, and I'm gonna watch you, and I'm gonna walk your ass out. And I go down there, and she's like throwing stuff like in the air. I mean, if you watch the video, she's like throwing, hey, I don't know, what is she doing? She's falling all over. She's obviously wasted. I mean, it's like 8 o'clock, so she's been home for 3 hours, and she's clearly just been drinking this entire time. She's wasted. She is snockered. And so anyway, like, she ended up, I told her, I said, you gotta go. I'm sorry, you cannot be on my property anymore. You're scaring my children, and that's that. And I said, but you are drunk. So I would appreciate if you would sleep in your car, or you can sleep at the bottom of the hill, but please do not drive like you're drunk. And, as much as I don't like you right now, I do still care about you, because that's the kind of person I am. So please just do not drive. So she, of course, drives off like that out of hell. So anyway, they have an upcoming little hearing, because he wants to set alimony, but he's having problems because he would make the guy pay alimony, even though she has not paid for a year now. She has not paid a penny towards what, like, she should be. She hasn't paid a penny towards anything. He would have to be paying her a few grand a month in alimony, unless he can show that there was this domestic violence. So he calls me last night, and he's like, asked me, can you testify? And and ding, 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 someone finally answered. Over $100,000. Yep. It's gonna be a goddamn college fund by the time they're done. Can you imagine? I mean, I live in California, and I live in a tourist kind of area. So, I mean, $100,000 here would buy you like a 1 bathroom in a house. Like, you might be able to rent a bathroom here for $100,000. I mean, it's very expensive here, but that's a lot of money in 99% of the country. And they have spent that on fighting each other. I'm in the pool right now. Look at that. It's not going to just keep showing the like, I thought it would show me the answers, like, somewhere. It's not, there it is. Yeah, can you imagine, though? I mean, okay, so 22 people voted, and there's one like. At least one other person, please hit the like button. or else I probably can't see it, right? I probably can't see it if it changes. Anyway, yeah. I mean, they're probably halfway there, and they have spent $100,000. I mean, they're gonna spend at the end of the day. This is probably gonna be like a $200,000 divorce. I mean, do you know how many shoes you can buy with that kind of money? I mean, that's just insane to me. That, like, I mean, she thinks, she got this money from her dad when her dad passed away. That's going to go real fast when you're going to spend, $250,000 on a divorce. I mean, that's just crazy. I mean, that's just absolutely insane to me. But yeah, I mean, they've each already spent about, he said he spent a little, like 55, and she spent about 50. So they've spent a little over $100,000 at this point. And I mean, and they're not anywhere near done. And like, and he's like, everything's like 10 to 15 grand. Like, it's just like insane. It's just insane. I mean, like they're like, just think about it. They're suing they're paying all this money so a judge can rule that they don't have to love each other anymore. But that's the sad part. He's like, we were talking the other night, and he's like, I still love her. I do still love her. She's the mother of my children. She's like, like that was his first and only wife. Like he didn't like get it, he thought he got it right the first time, so this is his first and only marriage. He's like, he was like crying. He was like, I love her still, she's the mother of my kids, and, but I can't live with her. She's just, and she's got problems. She obviously has substance abuse problems. I mean, she came home that day. She went downstairs and she came up schnockered like hell in the handbasket. So, clearly she was doing something. And for the amount of alcohol she was drinking, there was something else going. There was a balancing act going on. I'll just say that. So, I mean, it's just, it's crazy. And then after she left, like, I found marijuana, like under the refrigerator down here. I mean, like, it's like, come on. Like the door, if you go out of the game room where she was staying, is the office. It's like, you were next to my kids. You were in the room next to my kids smoking dope. I mean, girl, come on. Don't disrespect me like that. Like, shit. So, I mean, I don't know. It's sad because I met them both at the same time. So, I met them as a couple, I don't feel like, it's not like she's my friend from college and that's the guy that she married, like I met them, together, like as a couple, so I know both of them equally. And I care about both of them equally. And I even said, like, I remember I was the first person they told they were he said, I think I'm going to file for a divorce. I just can't, live with her anymore. And I was like, I'll mediate for you. I'll help you, I'll do whatever I can to help you. But just know I care about both of you, but I care about your kids more than anything. So, my priority is your children, what happens to your children. And, it's just ridiculous. And I can't imagine. I mean, I'm such a like I don't know. I like money, and I like spending it on some things, but that's not what you want to spend your money on. Like, I would be mad if I had to throw away $100,000. Well, I mean, at the end, she probably will pay $100,000 herself. But I mean, I would just be so mad. Like, just like the other day, I was talking about my wedding and how, like, I'm like, okay, so how much does the cake cost? And people are like, oh, about 10 to 15 grand. I was like, okay, we're not going to be having a cake. Like I'll have a $15,000 dress, but I'm not going to spend $15,000 on cake that nobody even eats at the end of the wedding. You know, I'm like, I will spend a lot of money on certain things, but the thing, if I don't care about it, I'm not going to spend money on it. And and that was, I think me and my husband spent a combined $10,000. And I mean, like, we obviously did. I mean, that we got divorced, you know, but I mean, we didn't use our lawyers for obviously quite what they're using their lawyers for. But I mean, it's just, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine going to bed at night knowing that like I had wasted $100,000 on lawyers. I mean, it would disgust me. It would literally disgust me to know that that was going on. Like, that's just such a large amount of money. I don't know. I can't imagine. I almost would be like, let's stay together. Like, I would think I'd rather stay with you and keep my $100,000 than like lose my $100,000. That's just such a lot of money. But so the funniest, so now I have to talk to the lawyer because, you know, she's also like, I don't know why. Well, I guess so her daughter isn't allowed to come over here, but she said all these horrible things about me, about how, you know, I'm like a bad influence. And it's funny, like, if you watch the video, like, she's like, you know, the alcohol police are coming to get you and you're going to go to alcohol rehab. Anybody who knows me knows I don't drink alcohol, like, at all, really. Like, you know, if someone comes over and they have a glass, I'll pour myself a glass, but I don't like the taste of it. So it's like, if you're going to pick something that you're going to joke that I'm going to go get sent to rehab for, like, you could pick something that at least could sound reasonable, because everyone knows I emphatically don't drink. Like, pick something that I might do. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like, oh. And she was saying, like, with my kids in the next room, like, that's what a nut fucker she is. Like, with my kids in the next room, she was saying, you know, oh, the police are going to come and take, you know, you to jail for alcohol, the alcohol police. And, you know, and my children are 2 feet away. Like, they don't know that that's bullshit. You know, for all they know, that could happen, you know? Like, they're little kids. You just don't do that to little kids. And that's why she's selfish, because you don't say, you know, oh, I saw so and so and it took everything in my power not to kill her. Like, you treat your children, you know, you raise them to not act like that. But she can't help herself. I mean, I've never seen someone, I mean, I gave her everyone, like, I have friends who are like ended, well, no one, she wasn't really friends with anybody but me, but like, I have people who emphatically like can't stand her because of how she treated me. Like, they're majorly mad because of how she treated me, because they're like, that's ridiculous, like how. And I was like, it's no big deal, you know, like, whatever, you know, like, that says who she is, and that she's allowed to act however she's acting and be who she wants to be, you know, and I'm still going to be me, who is the person who lets assholes stay with them. But I mean, what kind of person that she hasn't talked to her son in years. I mean, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I really don't. I just, I don't know. I would be so, like, if I didn't have my kids with me, I don't know. I think I would be freaking out. I would be a whole big, I would be doing a lot more than moving my house plants into someone else's house. I mean, I would be freaking out. I could not, if I couldn't wake up every day to my children and go to sleep every night to my children, I don't know if I could handle that. I just don't. I'm just that kind of mom. Like, I like, like if we go, there was one time we went somewhere or we did something where like maybe our parents stayed with them and we were gone for a weekend, and it was so hard to do. It was so hard to do to not have them with us. So I can't, And one of the worst things was I actually got, because her son was one of the ones who didn't want her around him. And I got, because we all like to shoot guns, so I had him come over to hang out with my son and to shoot guns. And, and I gave her one of my guns because she's not really into it. But I was like, just do it to do something, you might not like it, but your son does. So this is something that you can do with your son and have a good time. And, so she comes over and stuff. And at the end of it, he said, "I love you, Mom." Like, can you hear that? Oh my God. It's supposed to snow tomorrow. Holy scream to Jesus, you guys. It is supposed to snow tomorrow. Oh my God. Now, it's not supposed to be 18 inches like the last time, because that was like a one and a never happens. But it is supposed to snow like just a little bit, which will still be exciting. The kids are kind of bummed because we told them if it snows, originally they said it was going to snow like a foot, like a lot of snow on Thursday and Friday, which is when we said, if it really does snow like that, you can stay home from school. But now it's supposed to just be on Saturday, and it's supposed to just be like a dusting. Did you hear that? Oh my God. I love it. I absolutely love it. Oh my gosh. So this is my new, I'm going to do like a studio. See, I'm pissed because I changed my studio around and I brought a desk in. I got a desk and I put it here. So my backdrop was where all these lights are. So I thought that would look really good, but it's just there's not enough room on the side to but it looks really good from the back, but it's just not going to work unless I can figure out. So pretty much wasted my whole morning basically moving stuff around that isn't going to work at all. But anyway, that's my crazy ex Houseguest story. I was so worried though when we were talking over Halloween and he was talking about if they go to trial, and I was like, "Oh, you guys might go to trial," and he's like, "Yeah," because then I realized that if they go to trial, what's going to happen is every person who's ever known both of them, which is the whole town, is going to get paraded up one by one up to the little juror box, whatever, to tell it, because everybody has a story about her drunk somewhere acting a fool. I mean, you're not going to find a single person here, in this town that doesn't have a story where she got drunk and stupid somewhere. I mean, so it was just, I remember telling her at that time, because at that time, what he wanted was he just wanted her to agree to let him have full custody or primary custody, and to keep the house and live in the house, because he was like, it's important to the kids that they stay in the home. Like, that's their childhood home. That's where they were born. That's where they grew up. Like, they if they have to move, it's going to be traumatizing. At least that's one thing that they have that's stable, is this house. So I do not want to have to sell it. And he got, his interest rate is like 3%. And now interest rates are like 8%. So he's like, if he has to give her money, he's going to have to take out a home equity loan at like 8%, which is going to have to sell the house. So, which is going to really upset the kids. So it's like, you know, I've tried to throughout this time give her advice like, look, this is what, let me just, you know, we may not be friends right now, but I do care about you and I do want the best for you. And I just need to let you know that this is what's going to happen. And so you know, your best, you know, whatever is to please just, when you go to court tomorrow, you know, say yes to what, you know, whatever. And she would write me back like these messages like, yeah, you fucking bitch, you're kind of blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm just trying to help you here, girl. You know, I'm like that kind of person who is like, if I know something, like I have to tell you, like I have to tell you, and then once I've told you and you should know, then I'm cool. Like I'm cool. Like if you don't listen to me, and something bad happens, like it will. Like that's fine now. Now that's your problem. That is now your problem because I have told you and I've done my job and my hands are now clean of it and I'm done. But oh man, she's just a nut. I mean, I can't imagine. I just can't imagine. And it's funny, there was this one day where they were doing like, you know, in video games they can do like those 2 day long like you know, whatever, quests. They do like these long quests or whatever. And so he was on, my oldest son was on with her oldest for like 2 days straight. And her, bear in mind, her room is like right next to the office room. And my, at that point my studio was right above where he was, and I kept having to tell him to be quiet because he would be yelling like the other kid's name and just yelling, you know, playing games so loud. It was so annoying and so distracting. So I'm like, she's had to have heard her son's name by now. Like there's no way she has not heard, you know, hasn't heard my son call her son's name by now. You know, she just choosing to pretend like she doesn't. So, but all at once she like comes running up the stairs to me, and I'm like, "What? What's wrong? Are you okay? Do we need to go to the ER? Like, what happened?" She's like, "I just, I just, I just, I just heard my son's name." And I was like, "Yeah, I've been waiting for you to realize that. They've been at it for 2 days now." And she's like, "They have?" I'm like, "Yeah, they've all been playing. All three of them have been playing together for, you know, 3 days now. He's been calling his name for 3 days, and been waiting for you to hear it and come get all butthurt about it." And she was like, I didn't hear it. Now I do, and and it's like, oh, so then back to the gun shooting story. So we're shooting, you know, like Glock 7, it's Glock 17 that I got. I got three of them. So we're shooting them. And he found, what did he like? He liked was it a Beretta? I forget what it was, but there was one specific kind of gun that he really liked. And it wasn't a cheap gun either. It was like $400. It was expensive. So she had me buy it, which I did because, you know, it would come to my house, and it, you know, and I have Amazon Prime and everything. And so I got him like the gun and the bullets and like the magazine, you know, and all this. And she paid me back, you know, that wasn't a problem. But that was going to be his, because he and my son are in 8th grade. Well, my son's in 8th grade now. He was in 8th grade then, so he's in high school now. My son's a year younger, but so that was going to be his 8th grade graduation gift, was this gun with all the fixins. It was like $500 worth of stuff, and he knew he was supposed to get it, like she had said. You know, like, I love you too. You know, I'd love to do this more often. You know, maybe. And I was like, of course. I was like, this is great. You know, anytime you want to, we can go on the property, and we can even, you know, set up like, I don't know, like little courses, you know, whatever. I'm like, we can make this into a big thing if you want, you know, if you really enjoy it. He's like, yeah, I had a lot of fun. And And so just to be the petty bitch that she has not given it to him yet. Lord even knows where it is. I mean, I don't know how many times, like, my son has asked me if I had it. And, like, it's just heartbreaking when I have to say no. But are you sure? Are you sure she didn't leave it here? And I'll literally, like, look around everywhere and everything. And it's like, I don't know. It's not. And it's not. It's not here. And she refuses to give it to him. Because she's like, you don't treat me nicely, I'm not going to reward you. And it's like, it's not about that. Like, giving him that, like, wouldn't show that you're rewarding him. It's showing that you're, like, a decent human being and a mother. Sorry, I'm putting extensions in, so I was just ripping some sticker off of one. I just heard this, like, weird rip. Weird, like an alien butt crack. God, it's really coming down. When it rains, it can rain up here. We don't get rain a lot, but when it rains, oh my God. And it was a mess. I remember one time, oh my God. She just the mess. Just the mess of it. And it's funny, my husband was absolutely no help whatsoever. Like, he would see her and he would just walk the other way. And I would be like, hello, a little help here. And he's like, you're the one who wanted her here. He's like, I adamantly was not up for this. Did not want this. And you wanted her here, so now she's here. Now she's your problem. Damn it. You got no assistance. To just fucking roll on with my bad self. But it was funny. When she came up to me and she was, hold on one sec. Hold on one second. I sent you an email with an invite, so why don't you go to your email address and try to go in from there, because it did actually, I deleted my account and went back in from there and it let me, so try that. But she's a nuttenburger. She's a real nuttenburger. I feel bad for him. I feel bad for those kids. They just, like, their lives are now, like, forever changed now. Like, that's the thing. Like, I told my husband and I were talking about it, and I was like, if we ever get divorced, like, not that we're going to, because I'm just, I don't know, I'm, like, old school. Like, if anyone saw my clothes, like, I dry my clothes outside. I'm a bit old school at certain things. And I was like, if that ever happens to us, you're living here and I'm living here, and it can be in separate sides of the house or whatever, but we got into this mess with these kids, and I'm not having kids who, like, have part of their house here and part of their, and, like, we're staying and living together until the last one's 18 and out. Like, that's just how it goes. There's no, none of that. I don't believe in that crap. So, I was like, you better. And I told him that before we got married. I said, the only thing that I want from you is respect. So if you even think, like, oh, there's this chick at work, and kind of, like, if you even think it, you tell me. Because if you don't, that's disrespectful. And to me, that's the same thing, and we'll talk about it. Because once you do something, you're dead to me. Like, I don't mean like really, like, but, like, that's just, I'm Italian, so to me, respect is, like, the most important thing. And I've never had anybody, like, cheat on me. And I guess, like, how would you know? I guess, but I don't know. I know no one has. So, but I was just like, all right, I need to go get something to drink. I'm hungry too. I'm hungry. You know what? I really need to. I'm really having this Milky Way problem. I have this like addiction, and it's to Milky Way bars. And it's really, do you hear that? Do you hear all that wind? Oh my God, it is really windy out. Holy crap. All right, I'm going to go get something to drink real quick. And then I'm going to go get, I think I'm going to actually get a Milky Way. All right, hold on. I'll be right back. Give me 1 sec. I'll be right back. Actually, I might be more than 1 sec because the Milky Ways might be way all the way upstairs on the way up floor. Oh my gosh. So, oh my God. Oh my God. I got Milky Ways. Oh my God. Sam, it's so funny. He actively, so my wardrobe is like an addition onto the house, and then you go in to the first floor down here, And there's, so you go outside and then back inside, and then you can go up to the upper floor. So I went all the way to the upper floor to get my Milky Ways. And I start coming down the steps, and I'm like, gosh, it's really damn cold down here. Like, wow, why is it so cold down here? And I realized I left the door open. So I'm like, oh, crap. I left the door open. Well, where do you think Sam is? Sam's just laying in bed. Hadn't moved a muscle. That cat, he wants nothing to do with being outside anymore. Not a bit. He is like, I am done being an outside cat. Especially like, it's really bad out here. I mean, it's like coming down cats and cats. But he's like, I don't want anything to do with the outside or being an outside cat, or, because most cats with the door open like that would have went out the door and just went and taken a little peek at what's going on outside. Well, not him. I come down the stairs and I'm like, why is it so cold? And I'm like, I left the door open. And he's just laying there. The cutest thing about Sam is I've never seen a cat before who actively can get himself under covers. Like, I just had a hiccup. Like, he somehow gets himself underneath. Oh, I got hiccups again. Oh my gosh. He gets himself underneath the covers. I don't know how he does that. Like, I went in there before and he was underneath the covers. Like, he pulled all the covers over top of him. That's the cutest thing. I mean, I've seen cats like burrow under the covers, but not one that looked like they actively like picked the cover up and put it over them. You know what I mean? Like, there's difference there. Ooh, you hear that? You hear that? Oh my gosh. See, it kind of scares me because it's all like, aluminum. Which, it's funny. A few years ago, like, aluminum would have been so cheap, and wood was what was expensive. But wood was what everybody wanted. And now, like, aluminum is the thing that people want for stuff. And now that's costing an arm and a leg. Well, really, no. It doesn't cost them an arm and a leg. It just costs them a leg. But, do you hear all that? Do you hear that rain? Oh, I love it. I could just stay out here. Like, I don't want to go get the kids. Do you think it would be, like, a bad mother of me to, like, go have an Uber, go get the kids? Oh, my God. I mean, would it? I don't think has anybody ever had an Uber pick up their kid? I don't think I could have an Uber pick up my kid. I don't think I would want to have an Uber pick up my kid. It's funny, when I got doxxed, that first year that I was here, like, the first thing that I did was I called, like, the school, and, first thing I did was I called the police, but I called the school and everything too. And I was like, okay, here's what happened. And because they made a nice little channel with my name. It was like my real name versus QUEENOG. And they made a nice little video that wasn't very nice to my kids. And I remember, like, telling the school, and I was like, this is what has happened. This is what someone has done. So if anyone, ever, and it's a small school. There's 100 kids from K through 8. So I'm like, but if anyone would ever try to pick them up or, anything, just like, no. Like, only I or my husband touch my children. No one, if someone else is meant to pick them up, we will call you and tell you. but don't ever let anyone near my children. Not for a second. And and then I told the post office, it's like, if you happen to see my kids in the post office with people that look like they don't belong, give me a call. I was like strict lockdown. I was like, okay. And literally, I mean, the grocery store, I was like, there is no way you're getting to these kids, because these kids always have a parent on them. And if you come to this property, you're going to be met by 2 kids who know how to use a firearm well. And if you live in California, if you live in the unincorporated part of the county, and you have over 2 acres, I think, you can legally hunt on your property. So if I saw, and sometime I'm going to put together all the pictures, because the whole property has cameras. There's cameras all around it. And it's not for people either. It's for animals, because it's pretty cool. And it's for fires. But every inch of this property has cameras, watching what's going on. And I remember... Damn it. Now, what was my story about? God damn it. Now I lost my story again. Gosh darn it. This is your brain on fried eggs. What was I telling the story for? God, I hate when I do this. Oh. Once you're an adult, though, you don't fight like that. You don't, why would you want to do that? You just... Oh my gosh, I really hope it snows. I really hope it snows. Do you know, I made a little thing that it's a snowmaker, and I'll have to find it. Maybe maybe I'll come on tomorrow if it gets cold enough, because if it's cold, basically, if the water particles, because that's what snow comes from, water particles, if they're moving fast enough, they'll get cold enough. So you have to basically, so everything in the sky, I think it starts as like ice or something. I think I took a meteorology class in college, but I think in the sky, everything starts as ice, I believe. And then, depending on the temperature, the air temperature, as you get farther and farther down, it depends, what you end up with. So if it's really cold, you'll end up with, sleet. But if it's just cold, you'll end up with snow. And if it's not really cold at all, you'll end up with just rain. So I made this device, and basically, the way to know that you're going to get snow over other types of precipitation is it has to be at a certain temperature. And you can either do that by freezing it, by making it that right temperature, by basically kind of freezing it, or you can do it by, what was that? Or you can do it by making the particles move fast enough that they get to that temperature. So I made this little contraption, and maybe the next time I get on, I'll bring it. But it's it's pretty cool. I made it out of all these different pipes, but it goes different ways, and it goes through a different series of stuff. And basically the point of it is to get the water cold, and part of it goes through basically like a pressure washer. basically one part of it is a piece from a pressure washer. And the whole point is to go through it fast enough, get the water to go through fast enough that it turns into snow by the time it gets down. But I think for here, it has to be like 28 degrees, which if it's cold here, I mean, I've seen it get down to 20 degrees. It's funny. I think it was the summer right after, too. Was it the summer right after? It might have been the summer right after, but oh my gosh, what is this? It was the summer right after. I tried to do it because it got so hot, and then it got so cold. I tried to do it and it just didn't work at all. But I don't think I had my particles moving fast enough. So I'm like, I need a new pressure washer. But I'm not gonna buy it. The whole thing that I'm doing is I'm making like a basket of like homemade toys and stuff like that. So when the kids get older, they can take it out and look at it and show their kids, and you know. Sorry, no one's hooking down this way. You want to go that way, or you want to go that way? Or you go. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I'm watching something on TV as I'm doing this. So this is what happens when I don't have the camera on. I start talking about things that nobody knows what I'm talking about because I'm looking at something while I'm talking. And at least if you could see me, you know I'm talking about something that I'm seeing, but you don't know what I'm seeing, so you have no idea what I'm talking about. But anyway, I would love for it to snow. What I want to do is I really would love to. There's a place, we go to Tahoe every year, and the last 3 years we've stayed on the same street. Right, and it's funny. The last time I went, we went to go pick up pizza, and we went to this little restaurant, bar, grill kind of place, and I so wanted to ask them about Kylie Rodney, but I didn't think that would be a very good idea. But the one guy, the place we went to, he's like, "Oh yeah, my great grandfather did this here, and my grandfather." So they were like local schmokles, you know. So I was like, I know you probably, if I said Kylie Rodney, you'd probably get a look on your face of like, that's a name we don't say anymore or something. I don't know. But I don't know. This is kind of interesting. But I would love to buy property up there. And we go to this one place, and it's actually kind of close by where do you hear that? Where her house was, and it's the reason I like it is all the houses are really high up. It's at like 7,000 feet, and you can basically go sledding in your backyard. Like that's how, like, it's all the houses are on this sloped hill, and whatever side of the street you're on, you can go sledding. So the last 2 years we went, and it's funny, not this past year, but the year before that, we were gonna go with my husband's family, but his wife wasn't feeling well, so they weren't gonna go. So then no one was gonna go, but then he ended up going. But by that point, we had already gotten a place, and it was kind of too small. And I think the reason she couldn't go was because she had COVID. So it's like, if we did hang out with him, we'd basically have to quarantine afterwards. And we're not doing that. So, but we were so bitter because what he had ended up getting for some reason. Ow! Oh my God! I think I just saw a scorpion. That better not have been a scorpion that just bit me. Oh my God, no, it's just a string. Oh my God. You guys, hey, Mr. Pork. I was in the middle of a story that now I'm never going to remember what I was saying. and I thought I stepped on something, and I thought it was a scorpion for a brief minute. So I had a freak out moment. And now I have no clue what I was talking about. Which, see, when I don't, it's not good with me not having the camera on. Not because you can't see me, but because I can't see me. So I end up looking at other things, like the TV on over there in the background, other things, and then I keep forgetting what I'm saying because I start like shifting my brain into other things that I'm looking at, which is not good because then I sound like a numbnuts. But anyway, we stay on the same place. So I know what I was saying. So they ended up, so we couldn't go with them because we would have, they obviously, it was the girlfriend, they couldn't go because she had COVID. So obviously the boyfriend and the son had, even though they tested negative, they had still been exposed. And this was, I think, January 2022, maybe, I want to say. So we're like, no. And then by the time like everything, like could happen, we'd already had a place and it was too small for him to come. So anyway, he just went with his son somewhere else. And they went by Donner Lake, which is at like 1,000, feet. So, and there was no snow to be found because this was like the end of January, early February. And I remember when we were going there, I was like, this is going to be tricky to find our own place now because the days are all, and Mr. Pork, you'll know this from being East Coaster, during the day, it was starting to get all warm up to being like in the 40s. But then at night, it would go down to, the 20s. And that's when you have everything heats up during the day and then it gets cold at night. And so you get ice, which is not fun to sled on because you get hurt. I mean, if you go skiing, it's fine because they just make their own stuff. But I was like, for sledding, because our kids don't know how to, if you want to go skiing, you better learn how to do it first or you're going to have a real not fun time. And so I remember like us getting there and it was like just like the last weekend that could have been good. Because after that, it just was in like the mid 40s every day. And then, 29 at night. So it just was like, and then when it gets like weather like that, when it starts to get warm like that and then cold, it also gets that icky snow. Like it gets, dirty snow just from all the, mud and stuff. Like snow is real. When it first snows, and there's like that nice couple layers or a foot or two or whatever, or 3 feet and an arm and a leg. I mean, it's pretty cool. And it's just beautiful looking. I almost hate when I have to make my sled runs because it's just like, oh, it's so beautiful. Just want to just stay in this one. But hence, we must go home. But that's what I'd like to do. Once, the kids are out of school and everything and they go do college or whatever the heck they want to do, then I want to buy a rental property. Yeah, and bust out my tailbone. Oh my gosh. I have to tell you this story and I can't forget this one. So when we were there, I'll have to put pictures on my community wall or something. I don't know what this was. We tried to Google it, but it looked as if somebody had taken a tree, like a pine tree, and cut it and piled the branches over it and then put like a garbage bag over it and then more branches. So it almost looked like it was it could be a hideout for somebody. Like somebody could hide in there. It was really weird. And just looking around in the back, there was all these little like bumps. And when I went over to them and just started digging, they were all these little like, I don't know, like maybe Kylie Rodney area, maybe that all was some culty thing and that's some culty thing they do. Like they all like make these little ice thingies that you stay in or something. I don't know. But I remember like I started pulling all the sticks off and the bag off, and it's like it went down far. It's like this, I think this little, I really wanted to dig it up, but it was freshly packed down. I'm like, for all we know, this goes like 6 feet down and there's like a house under, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Dude, I could bust up anything. I am just so clumsy all the time. What did I do? I fell going up the stairs yesterday. I fall going up stairs more often than I have ever fallen downstairs. Ever. I don't fall downstairs. I fall upstairs. It's like, who falls upstairs? I do. That and my like little black hole that I have for some reason. That things just magically just disappear out of nowhere. Frickin'. But can you believe those two knuckle bobs? They're gonna spend $100. Well, they've already spent that, but they're gonna end up spending like $200,000 on lawyers. Like, man, I'd be like, shoot, let's just keep the 200 grand, and we'll just, each live on. I mean, once the kids are out of the house, who cares? Like, you get this half of the house, and I'll get this half of the house. The problem is their house is only 1 story. If their house was 2-story, it could be like ours. Ours is 2 stories. And so, and there's separate entrances. And then there's, our son's studio. So it's like you could just go to the driveway down to the studio, and you could have your little life with your little Goomba down there. And then I'll have my little life up here, and then we'll save $200,000 freaking dollars, which I could buy a lot of shoes with. I mean, heck. I mean, really, all that. I mean, what's the difference? What's the difference? They're now going to have a piece of paper that says you're divorced. They're going to have a piece of paper that says you're divorced. I mean, I don't, like there are some people that don't, are anti-marriage because they're like, what is it other than a piece of paper? I mean, it kind of is a lot more. I mean, when you're married, you have to compromise. Like when you're single, even if you've been dating for 10 years, you don't have to compromise. If she wants to go buy a house here because she wants to go live here, you don't have to. You just say, I'm going to stay here, and you pack your crap up and you go somewhere else. But when you're married, you have to compromise. You can't just do it. Like suddenly you are no longer an individual once you're married. You have to compromise. That's part of the deal. You have to consider the other person's feelings just as much as you consider your own. You have to do your taxes together. You have to have a trust fund or whatever for like when you die. There's all these other things that come into play when you're married, like spending $200,000 when you get divorced. I mean, my God, can you imagine? Like, he had here's the other way she's a little wanker schnitzel. This kind of stuff pisses me off. So he bought this Tesla. He really likes Teslas, and it ended up being like a bunk Tesla. Like it's just like he kept trying to fix it, and it was like a lemon. So basically, he was like he could have sold it for 14 grand, and it was basically like that's as good as it's gonna get. Like he's not getting money for it. He doesn't want to put any more money. Like that was he just wanted to sell it for the 14 grand and get out of it and be done. And like go get something else. And besides, the other thing is him and his son like to go mountain bike riding. And you can't really put 2 mountain bikes on top of a freaking Tesla. And she they had this Subaru that had like the rack for the bikes and everything. So this is what this is the epitome of selfishness. So not only does she decide from the beginning that she's going to take the Subaru, even though it doesn't matter, except for the fact that they now can't go biking because only the Subaru would let them do that. But then, since when they bought the Tesla, just like when you're married, you buy a car, you both sign your name to it. It's just how it goes. I mean, you just when every car me and my husband had ever bought, we've both signed for it. I mean, what I don't know. I just take it for granted, I guess, that you just do. But anyway, so he couldn't sell it unless she agreed to, which she won't. So he's got a $14,000 rotting Tesla that he can't drive and he can't sell. Just a waste of 14 grand because she is a selfish schmuck. I mean, that is the epitome. You know how many guns her son could buy with that? Because he could buy himself several Glocks. He could, gosh, you hear all that? Wow, it's really loud. He could he could make himself a studio, just like my son has. Because his studio, it's not, I say it's a studio, but it's a little wood house. It's not like a shed. It's not metal. It's like a little house. It's got windows. It's on a deck. I mean, he could, put in one of my last extensions in there. They could do a lot with that. But no, she is going to be that way. So now he can't do. It's just going to sit there. I mean, he can't do anything with it. So it's just going to sit there. Just a waste of time and a waste of money because she's a wanker doodle. I hate people like that. I just can't stand that. I mean, she's doing that just to hurt him, but who she's really hurting is the kids. Because, they can't go mountain bike riding because they don't have the right car for it now. And, they get to see dad be upset, and they're out $14,000. I mean, they're already out freaking $50,000. It's just like, oh my gosh. It's like, there's you're at a certain age in your life, all your friends start getting married. And then at a certain age in your life, all your friends start getting divorced or getting married. And then at a certain age, they all start, so it's like, we got to that, oh, shoot, I can't get this off. That age, and I can't get this off. Oh my god, I got something stuck in me. Now I can't get it off. Now shoot, what was I trying to say? Oh, Lord Christ almighty, I'm losing my skull, Mr. Toad. I'm losing my skull. What was I going to say? I don't even remember. But, it's funny. In California, this is how my son couldn't believe this. He just kept saying, but it's our own property. We were talking about his studio, and I was saying, well, it has to be under a certain square footage, or else we have to get a permit. And he's like, what? And I explained to him what a permit was, and he was like, why would we need a permit? We're building something on our own, like it's our own land, it's our own house, we own it. We own the land. Why would we need a permit? And I was like, because you're in California, baby. You need a permit for everything so the government can keep track of you. And he just couldn't. I said it like 5 times. I was like, it doesn't matter that it's our own property. You just like you just have to do it. You have to make sure to tell. And this house that I bought, it was built in like the early 50s, before they had the law that everything has to be approved by the inspector and has to have a permit and blah blah blah. And so basically my house is like grandfathered in until I want to do something to it. Like then I have to bring stuff up to code, like, which could definitely screw me. Like if I ever wanted to upgrade like we were thinking about, well, we are thinking about putting a bathroom off the studio, but that would need to hook into the septic, which probably means I would have to get the septic up to code before I could do anything. So stupid. So stupid. And if you don't, the problem is like, let's say the kids go to get a loan, or let's say me and my husband die, and they want to sell the house. Well, if you have code issues, they either will make you tear down whatever was done without a code. So they might say like, okay, you got to just tear down that studio, or they'll make you pay for what the permit would be, with massive penalties. So if it should have been like a $5,000 permit, like you'll have to pay $15,000 for the permit. Or they'll just say, you can, that adds $30,000 of value to your property. So you have to take that much off the seller's sale price, So if like your house is now worth, $800,000, like, well, no, it's only worth $770, because you can't include that in the house, because you did that without a permit or something, things like that. So really, like, I mean, I would go nut bag doing stuff without permits, but I would just be screwing my kids over if I did that, because then when they get older and and I die, because unfortunately I'm not invincible, and that will happen at some point, then they would be screwed. But there are ways to get around it. Like, we had our roof redone this year, and if you only have to get a permit if you replace the whole roof. So we did 95% of the roof. We didn't have to have a permit. And then like for my wardrobe down here, the area already had 3 of the 4 walls built into it. And one of the walls already had a door, and one wall already had a window. So technically, and it was under, no, this one is well over the square footage, but it already had the 3 doors, a window, and a door. Three walls, a window, and a door. God, that's like that movie that was horrible. That 3 weddings and a funeral and a freaking midget wrestling match. I don't know, whatever that movie was. But it was kind of like that. It's like, it already had 3 of the 4 walls, and it already had a door and a window. So we didn't. I'm walking around again. So we didn't have to get a permit for that. And then the studio it was under a certain number of square foot, so we didn't have to get a permit for that. And then, did you know that even to build a deck, like just to build a deck, because the back of our property is sloped, so we needed to put the studio on a deck, so it wasn't sloped anymore. And if your deck is more than a certain area, and if the slope at the like highest point is more than 3 feet, then you need a permit. It's like these ridiculous ridiculous rules go into it, which unfortunately the tallest side of the deck is 35 inches. No, I think it's 37 inches. So it's like an inch over. So I think we're just going to like add in dirt and some plants to make it look like it's like 35 inches and just under the cutoff. So like, you know, we'll just start building like, you know, plants and bushes and stuff. So you can't really tell where it's, we're just gonna like build the area up. So you can't really tell that technically it should have had a permit to use it. But that's just stupid. And when I was telling my son, he's just like, he just kept saying over and over again, but it's our land. We already own, like, you already bought it. Like, I don't understand. You already paid a lot of money to own it. Why do you have to get a permit now to just put something on it? I'm like, that's California, hey? California's expensive. Like, why do you think it's so ridiculous here? There used to be a why is my thingy going? There used to be a postcard going around, and it was like this is $1 million house in San Francisco, and it was like a wood shed that was all like falling apart. That's weird. That's my husband. My friend's lawyer never called me today. That's really weird. I have to contact him. All right, it's almost 2:20. Right. I got to go get my kids here in a few minutes, so I'm gonna need to go. But damn it, I put this desk here because I thought this would be a better way, but I don't like it. I spent all morning moving stuff around and have to move it back. I don't like it this way. But anyway, for members, Mr. Pork, you're a member. I think I might do like maybe later tonight, like sit outside in the storm and listen to the storm. That might be a fun little members thing. And I have some cute caption this pictures of Sam to put up. I've been putting up a few videos of Sam in there, but Sam, for some reason, I don't know how he does it, but he has this ability. He doesn't just like crawl under, like a lot of cats will just crawl under blankets. He like actually gets the blanket like over him, like as if someone's put it over him. I don't know. He has this crazy ability to do that. But anyway, thank you guys for hanging out with me a little bit and keeping me entertained, letting me talk and entertain myself. That's what a crazy thing. I just sat here and talked to myself, basically. You know, only crazy people can do that. You gotta, you know, they say like crazy people talk to themselves. I must be really crazy. But anyway, if I do a members one later, I know this one is just totally short notice. I just was like totally, like I usually plan them the day before. This one I just totally just random time, probably worst time because I think everybody's on it this time. But anyway, I gotta go get my kiddos. So thank you guys. I love you guys, and I will see you soon. Bye.